Ah, okie dokie. How we doing tonight? Oh boy. If that wasn't a great time watching a basketball game, I don't know what was. Hold on, before we start tonight, let's just take care of something here. Okay. That's better. That is much better. I needed to just inject a little positivity here. Because I can't look at that motherfucker anymore. Fuck that guy. Oh, man. Okay. That was an epic ass kicking. I don't really have anything to say about it. This is going to be a vent session for anybody, and say whatever you want. I will say this, which you're not going to hear from me tonight. You'll hear a couple positives from me tonight. You'll hear a couple positives about it. I thought Quickly played some nice minutes. I thought RJ played some nice minutes. Obi played some nice minutes. We got to see a little Cam. I don't know how good that was. So like, yeah, there's like, you know, we'll try to keep things in perspective. I will do that, as I always do. What I won't do is tonight is not going to be the night that I die on the Tom Thibodeau hill. Do I think Tom Thibodeau should be fired? No, of course I don't think Tom Thibodeau should be fired. But I think we have reached a point where even me, who is a strident supporter of Coach Tibbs, and I will remain so until my dying day. Things have gotten past the point of being tenable. And we were just talking about it for the last 20-25 minutes on the playback, the live stream, about, like, you know, what would a real attempt at accountability from Tibbs, what would, like, what's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? What's the cost benefit analysis? Might he be losing other players at this point in terms of their faith in what's going on? I'm convinced that if he tried to become more make Julius more accountable for his actions, I'm convinced that he would lose him. That's my whole Tibbs hill to die on has been centered on that, because I'm convinced that Julius is a head case. I'm convinced that Julius is 110% detrimental to anything positive that they're trying to do. I am convinced that Julius Randle is a cancer for this team at this point and this organization. And I mean, it's funny now to think back that people like got on me for suggesting that I had the audacity to want to trade him for Harrison Barnes a few weeks ago. I would trade him for a bag of fucking deflated balls if I could. My defense of Tibbs has always been rooted, though, in the fact that if Tibbs tries to get more accountable with this guy, he's gonna lose him. And what happens if you don't excise a cancer and you leave it in there and you let it fester and you just poke at it and you prod at it? The cancer grows, which is why I'm very, very, very worried about what happens if Tibbs does try to get a little tougher with Julius and he is on this team past the trade deadline. I think in that case, you ain't seen shit yet. I think things could get really, really ugly. All that being said, can't watch this shit anymore. Just can't watch it. Can't watch it. It's unwatchable. And, like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of suggestions about taking this person out of the starting lineup and putting this person in the starting lineup. And, like, I've been on the start quickly bandwagon and the whole thing. I don't think it makes a difference as long as Julius is in there. If Julius is in there, I don't think anything's going to work. It all comes back to him. And here's the other part. And again, this is not a defense of Tibbs, because Tibbs is the coach. You got to get your players to play the way you want them to play. He can't get Julius to play any differently right now, because this is the way that Julius wants to play. Julius is never going to play any differently. Not in this city, at least. This is how he's going to play. It's not going to alter his play style at all. Didn't alter it in game 1, game 10, game 20, game 30, game 40. Guess what? He's not doing it in game 50 either. He's going to play the way he wants to play. Get him the fuck out of here. I never want to look at his fucking face in a uniform again. Certainly not in my house. All right, let's get to the super chat. Postergate. That's a good one. Kevin Danishevsky. To make your night a bit better, Duncan Robinson is a max player. Side note, I feel like Grimes and Quickly have switched places in the rotation. I think they both have pretty secure places in the rotation. Tibbs clearly loves Grimes, and Grimes is not going anywhere out of the rotation. Grimes tonight played 31 minutes, Quickly played 22. Yeah, I think he thinks Grimes is the more versatile player. I think he thinks Grimes can be on the floor with any combination of players, whereas Quickly, I think he feels he has to be out there. He has to be insulated a little bit. I feel like he doesn't trust him to do as much. But if you defend your ass off Grimes got Jimmy Butlered a couple times tonight, but that dude, you are not going to get one over on him on a defensive possession. And let's just call it like it is. And again, I've been defending Quickly all year. He hasn't shot it well. He was 4-6-9 tonight, 2 of 5 from deep. He hasn't shot it well. Grimes tonight was only 2 of 6 from deep, but the threat of his shot is just so it's a game changer. So I'm not surprised that Tibbs has fallen in love with Grimes. Ryan Huang. At this point, I think the front office has to be telling Tibbs to play guys for trade value. Kemen needs to be moved ASAP to get Cam in the rotation. Who are you? Oh, that's why you think that Tibbs is playing. Yeah, that's a theory. I think I've said it before. Nothing Tibbs is. That's the other part of it why I do kind of defend him, because, and you may choose to believe this, you may choose not to believe it. Nothing Tibbs is doing is purely Tibbs' decision. I want to make sure I'm very clear about that. Nothing that Tibbs is doing is purely Thibodeau's decision. This front office and Tibbs they're maybe not in lockstep on everything, but they talk about all this shit, Tibbs, maybe he wants to continue to play Julius Moore. Maybe he's the one fighting to play Julius Moore. I have no idea. But, I do think there is going on the court. I don't know. That's a theory. That's definitely a theory. That said, do I think Tibbs would ever do anything that he did not think gave him the best chance to win the game? No, I don't think so. I don't think Tibbs would ever do anything that he didn't think would give him the best chance to win the game. Which is the frustrating part. And that's, again, where it's impossible to defend him on that front, because playing the starting lineup that's not their best chance to win the game. We've seen enough. It's not going to get fixed. And he's been stubborn in the past. He's being stubborn now. So he needs to get over that and change and be better and be different. Because for all the good he does, for as hard as they play, and, as much as I still believe in what they do schematically on defense and to a certain extent on offense, can't keep trotting out the same shit. It's a definition of insanity at this point. Robert McGinley. There will be a ton for you to cover tonight, so I won't heap on the pile. Just letting you know, we appreciate the fact that you're here to let us vent. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here for as much venting as you want to do. Thank you for that, by the way. Brian Benjamin. Wish we got more Deuce in the fourth. No offense to IQ, but we know what he is already. Also, this is the worst loss of the season, LOL. Yeah, I think this is probably the worst loss of the season. And I think I said 2 games ago we had the worst loss of the season. Well, guess what? This is worse. Or whatever it was, 3 games ago, the Minnesota game. I don't think we know what Quickly is yet. I think Quickly is a guy who's a season and a half into his career that is showing you little drips and drabs of nice playmaking. Thought he showed you some nice playmaking stuff tonight. He's a guy that I think the phrase that development isn't linear is very applicable to, especially when you're trying to learn how to play that position at this level. I'm fine with him. To me, this was a great opportunity to give to give more of a runway to quickly. But we'll see. Nucci and Braun, Tibbs sticking with the starting five for so long is BS. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree. It was BS. It was wrong. It was the wrong decision. And I'm sure he had motivations for it. But whatever they were, it didn't work. Unless he was just trying to rub their face in it, which goes counter to him trying to play to win the game. But, again, sometimes every coach, even Tibbs, will do something that they think is maybe not in the best interest of winning this game, but is in the best interest of winning more games in the future. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to leave them out there for that extra minute and a half. I have no idea, but it was ridiculous. Manny Campos, what's going on? Trade Randall. That's it. That's the super chat. I mean, shit. I mean, I could literally go through. I won't do it right now. I'll do it in a little bit. I could go through every salary that Julius Randle could be traded for, straight up. And I think you could find an argument that there's a trade there to be had. Matt, down in Australia. What's going on, buddy? Thanks again for the playback. I will be positive today and say that I love what we saw from RJ, Obi, IQ, and Grimes, especially Grimes. Grimes is becoming. I'm trying to. I guess I'd compare him to Quickly last year in terms of becoming like he is. I think he's kind of displaced Obi as the fan favorite because he does. Like Obi's fun. Obviously, Obi's a lot of fun to watch, but Grimes, man, that's New York basketball. That's Knicks. That's 90s Knicks basketball. That's what he brings, and that's what's so awesome about it. And I think there's a real ceiling there. I'm so excited about this kid. I think they got a steal at 25. And again, high pedigree kid, top 10 recruit. The present with Randall is not good, but the future is bright. Yeah, I think the future is going to be okay. Again, I trust the front office. I people out there may not trust Tibbs. I trust the front office. What else we got here? Dar288. John, those things I know what Jeff said tonight. He said he thought Tibbs should have pulled all the starters. Again, I am not going to concede that Tibbs has coached a bad year because I don't know how you could say that a guy whose team is 3 games under 500 and he has what at this point has to be said is the worst / most detrimental lead player in the league, in a league where the most important thing on your team is how good is your best player. Rank all 30 teams. I don't care who you want to throw at me. I mean, even at maybe Detroit, you want to give me Cade Cunningham is worse than Julius Randle? I don't think so. You want to give me Cole Anthony's been pretty good on Orlando. What team has had a worse lead player than Julius Randle? So I understand that Tibbs may be at fault for the Julius Randle of it all, but he's also had to deal with it. So it's kind of like a yin and a yang there. And the team still is where they are. I don't think they're as good as their record right now would indicate. I will say that. But again, I just every critical thing you could say of Tibbs, it all goes back to Randle. Every inch of it goes back to Randle. How he's handled Randle, how much he's playing Randle, how Randle has played, how like all of that stuff. And again, I don't envy the man. That's all. Maybe I defend him so much because I feel bad for him. That's probably it. Is because I feel bad for him that he has to deal with this guy who is just being it was actively detrimental to the effort of losing. I just don't know what I would do. Michael Mirando. Tibbs is pulling the Elf Payton treatment on Randle. Big difference, though. Julius Randle is signed for 4 more years and $117 more million, whereas Elfrid Payton was a expiring contract. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Jeff Van Gundy roasted Tibbs, and he's his guy. the front office needs to trade guys so Tibbs can't start them. Again, it's not that easy. You have to try to find a trade partner. I would love for the front office to make some trades, but we shall see. Jacob Rio. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it. Just because we need some good vibes tonight. Good vibes are always welcome in the chat and the super chat because God knows they are not always there. Fred Katz with a nice, this thing could get out of hand in a hurry. I mean, we've all been talking 15 games, and I think it might actually be more. They won't be underdogs against Sacramento at home in a couple games. I could see them being underdogs at Portland at the end of that road trip. They probably won't be underdogs against Oklahoma City at home. But again, if they're coming in to Madison Square Garden at to face Oklahoma City, having lost like 11 of their last 13 games, I don't know. Robert Cross, what's going on, Robert? I am done with Randall. Ship him out by February 10th. No pride, crap attitude, good riddance. We play with heart in New York City. Hashtag 53 wins. Robert, you've had a lot of good super chats over the course of the season, going back to even last year. That one might be my favorite. That one might be my favorite. Well said. Brian Benjamin. If Tibbs wants to keep Randall accountable, just play Obi 17 minutes a game so Randall can see what effort looks like. That's the solution. And that's the counter to my point, right? It doesn't have to be all of a sudden Obi's playing 24 minutes and Randall's playing 24 minutes, right? It's just Obi's playing a little bit more. My counter to that counter would be that Julius Randle is in such a bad place, mentally, emotionally, fucking physically, anything, that even if you play him, if he gets any inclination, he's like the kid at school who like is having a bad day and like one person says like the wrong thing to him and he like blows up at the person. Like he has the maturity of a teenager. So, I really do think he is in such a fragile place that the smallest thing. But again, the counter to that counter is like, how much worse could it get? And to that, I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it can't get any worse. I have no idea. All right, I'm gonna scroll back up here to the top of the super chat and catch up with everything. Okay, I think I'm good here. Great. We're going at a nice pace tonight. True story, Jay. Then Julius needs to go, John. I'm glad you've seen the light. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying, I think I've been saying Julius needs to go for a while. The only night that I felt actually very bad for him was the night that I thought he had like a decent ending to one game in Chicago, I think it was, and then he missed a couple free throws down the stretch, and but he made a lot of good shots, and like I thought he played well, and people were just killing him. I felt a little bad for him then, but like, I mean, any sympathy that I once had for Julius Randle has gone bye-bye. Peter Imhoff. Everyone over 25 should be traded this offseason. So Kemba, sayonara. Although again, I'm not even sure how much I blame. I really don't blame Kemba that because again, same thing with Tibbs. It goes for Kemba. You try playing with this guy who never made any real genuine, like, it was so begrudging. I'll use that word again. I've used it before. His effort in like quote unquote like welcoming Kemba and Evan into the team by changing his style of play, it was begrudging. It was noticeably begrudging. He didn't really like change his style of play. And then, but at the same time, he changed it enough, or he thought he was changing it enough, that he got pissed off at the whole world when it wasn't working, and I'm convinced that's what led to the Kemba benching. Because that was Tibbs' attempt to try to save Randall, and obviously it didn't work. So he could go, even though I don't think it's his fault. Fournier, I think they'll find. You could try, although again, like Fournier, he's fine. I don't really like watching Fournier play. He's not a New York player to me. Really did a lot to disrupt their identity. Eddie C is asking, does Randall have a 15% trade kicker? I know I should know this off the top of my head. I don't, so I will look it up here. And I will get that answer very, very quickly. James Michalonis. Randall is getting closer to Eddie Curry every day. Eddie Curry forgot how to play basketball. Julius Randle is like so deep in his own head that he has forgotten how to play basketball, but like Eddie Curry stopped being an effective like NBA player. Julius Randle, if he adjusted how he played, could still be quite good. Although the shooting piece has a lot to do with that. He's just not willing. I don't think Julius Randle has a trade kicker. If Andrew, if anybody has anything different than that in the chat, feel free to have it in here. I don't think he has a trade kicker. Lunas Emirat. Number 30 may request a trade himself because he looks totally out. There was a moment, I remember now during the game, where that's right. It was the last play before the half. And there was like 0.6 seconds put back on it, and the whole team had huddled up around Tibbs, who was like trying to draw up a play. The chat is saying he has a trade kicker. I'm on Spotrac and I don't see it. Again, I might be missing something. Maybe it was reported and it's just not on Spotrac. That could be it. It's funny. I haven't committed it to memory. Oh yeah, here we go. 15% trade bonus. You're right. Sorry. My bad, guys. Yes, he has a 15% trade kicker. It was at the bottom. Because it was, that's right. Upcoming contract extension. Yes, he has a 15% trade kicker. So that sucks. I still think they could trade him. Anyway, back to the comment. That's what I was saying. Yeah, the whole team had huddled up around Tibbs, and Julius was like already back in the locker room, and Mitch had to like wave him to come back. When Mitchell Robinson is like waving you to come back in the huddle, you know you've gone off the deep end. The rest of Lunas's comment. I just want so badly to see the rotation include all of our young guys with Cam, with no Jules, and with Rose. Yeah, I think we'd all like that at this point. Yeah, get the likes up if you hate the 15% trade kicker. Kenny Rose. As expected, the Knicks versus good teams shows what they are. Yes, that was a theme of our watch along tonight. Other than RJ, what Knick could start on a top 8 team? Not starting IQ and Obi is a joke now. Well, it's not a joke because you can't you can't bench a guy whose extension with the trade kicker, by the way, hasn't even started. You have to trade that guy. You have to trade him. The starting quickly thing, I think we're getting close to that territory. What Knick could start for a top 8 team? I don't know. Are any of the top 8 teams a little weak at set? No, Mitch can't start for any fucking top 8 team. Who am I kidding? Yeah, I don't think anybody other than RJ. That's a good comment. Ed Paula. Let's be real. Grimes is only playing because of the Rose injury. What happens when Rose gets back? P.S. What the hell happened to Burks? Good comment. Another guy I've been talk about fucking Cole Tate's exposed. Burks, I've been singing Burks' praises all year. Tough to sing his praises anymore. He's gotten into such a slump, and I think the wear and the tear, and maybe he's worn down. Which again, you blame Tibbs for that if you want. Perfectly valid. He's not good. He hasn't been good for a while. So I don't know what they could get for Burks at this point. I don't think they're getting a first for him. That's for sure. And then in terms of Grimes only playing because of the Rose injury, I disagree with that. Grimes ain't going anywhere. He's going to be in the rotation for the rest of the year. Tibbs loves that guy. He'll bench Kemba. He'll bench fucking Quickly. He'll bench Obi, Cam, any of these guys. He ain't benching Grimes. Dom Cornelius, what's going on, Dom? Van Gundy basically said Tibbs was insane sticking with the same starting lineup and sticking with them long in quarters. defend Tibbs now, Macri. I mean, I addressed this already. I can't defend him tonight for that move. But tonight is one game. I'm happy Van Gundy said what he said. He's not wrong. But at the same time, Van Gundy's not stupid. He would never say that about Tibbs if he didn't know that Tibbs's place with the front office is secure. And by the way, for anybody who actually thinks that they're going to fire him or would entertain firing him, that's sorry, it's not going to happen. He would never say that if he thought Tibbs was on any kind of shaky ground. He said that, I think, as a way to further dig it in to the starters, which is basically, you have played so poorly that your coach looks like an asshole for going back to you. Which, like, again, I'm not saying he wasn't being critical. I think he was legitimately being critical. But again, I go back to the same thing. If you want him to bench all these guys and like do all this stuff, you gotta live with the repercussions. With Randall specifically, I don't think there's any defense anymore for starting Kemba instead of Quickly. I can't think of a basketball reason to do it. So I will not defend Tibbs on that anymore. He can't start Kemba Walker anymore. As much as I don't think that's going to change things. Again, I want to be very clear about that. I don't think that's going to change things. As long as Randall is there, it's not going to change. Trying my best. Any realistic change to starting five happening soon? I mean, Bondi tweeted it after the game. I don't think he's necessarily wrong that they have to change it after this. I mean, your guess is, if you told me right now that he trotted out the same starting lineup against Milwaukee on Friday, would I be shocked? No, I wouldn't be shocked. To be honest with you, I'm like 50-50 right now that the same starting five goes out there against Milwaukee. I could see there being a change. Wouldn't be shocked if there is. Wouldn't be shocked if there isn't. I think the change is kept again. But again, if the change is Kemba, so that means, I guess, it can't start Burks. Can't start Burks. So start Quickly, and then your bench is going. And then he's gonna. What is he gonna? Is he gonna bring Kemba off the bench? He already said he thinks Kemba's a starter. So I again, I don't know. Is he gonna bring? Is the bench gonna be Grimes, Burks, Quickly, Reddish, or sorry, Grimes, Burks, Obi, Reddish, and then a center? Maybe that's the way he goes. I don't know. We'll see. D Black, I know you are mad with Julius, and I can't blame you, but all I feel is pity. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I pity him too. He went genius play last season to whatever the hell this is. It's like watching a basketball version of Flowers for Algernon. That's a good reference. I don't even know what this is. I was thinking about it a little bit earlier today. When is a player falling off a cliff like this? Like the only comp that I could kind of think of, and it didn't get as much media attention, and he wasn't, like, he was the face of the team, but like there were other guys on the team who could do a little bit of heavy lifting, was Oladipo. His year after his All-NBA year came back, and like his percentages plummeted, and he like wasn't doing as much the same things that was helpful to the team. And yet, even in that year, he made the All-Star team. So yeah, that is not a good comp. I don't know. I can't think of anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. Never seen anything like this. It's unbelievable. Elias Awike, I would trade Kemba for a used napkin right now. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know how many teams around the league. Like, if you treated him as a salary dump, right? And like, just so Kemba's making $9 million. Like, so let's say you're thinking a team might just like want to unload some bad money. Okay, well, like, where's the bad money? Where's the bad money you're going to get a team to unload? So like Torrey and Prince, right? Taurean Prince is making $13 million. He's on an expiring contract. Would the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? He's still a Timberwolf. I hope he's still a Timberwolf. I'm pretty sure he's still a Timberwolf. We just played them. I should know this. My brain is mashed potatoes. I apologize. Would they do that deal right now? Would they trade Taurean Prince's expiring contract for Kemba Walker? I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. I'm not convinced that they would. Who else? Would Detroit give you Kelly Olynyk? I don't think so. They'd ask for a sweetener. Yeah, I don't know where the deal is. I don't know where the obvious deal is. Tomas Satoransky, I think, is he playing in New Orleans? I don't think he's playing much in New Orleans. Like, do you want that guy? Like, it's like there's just really not. I don't know where the obvious Kemba trade is, but maybe you guys could think of one. Kevin Danishevsky's back for more. Future's still bright, but we need to start over with Julius. I would just trade him for buyout Russ and take the cap hit. Again, you can't trade him for Russ straight up because it's not enough money. You'd have to include Fournier in that trade. I take being ineffectively, and also they would never buy out Russ if they did that trade, but I don't think they're going to do that trade. I take being in effectively the same position cap-wise and going all in on young players. Yeah, this front office isn't going to operate like that. They're gonna continue to treat Julius as an asset for as long as they can. Maybe a distressed asset, but I think they're going to continue to try to treat him like an asset. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Oh, Tristan Thompson. Maybe you could send Kemba to Sacramento for Tristan Thompson. You want Tristan Thompson? Maybe there's the guy. Drew P. Kemba, Fournier, and Randall are the problems. They stink and are holding back RJ. Give RJ the keys. I can't keep watching them be on ball over RJ. Look, I'm here for giving RJ the keys. I'm here for RJ having a 30 usage rate for the rest of the year. I am here for all of that. I'm just going to warn you that that might be ugly on some nights. Not a lot of nights. RJ, like, this was a particularly bad matchup for RJ, and he still scored 17 points. But, like, there are teams, if you take away the dribble handoff or the pick and roll or any of that high action, and you could guard that high action, and there are teams that could guard that high action, RJ is not yet comfortable taking the step back three. So the only part of his game right now, the only parts of his game where he can score effectively are threes off kickouts, or occasionally if he gets a high screen and he can do a side dribble, but he's clearly more comfortable catching and shooting, and then just driving and trying to put up shots on the drive or make the pass on the drive. And he's gotten so much, for as much as he was a little dicey with that tonight, he's gotten so much better. I'm here for all of that usage. I just want to, again, say it's not going to look that pretty all the time. But I'm here for it. Danny Gardner, what's going on, Danny? It was good seeing you in the other chat or in the halftime Zoom. I'm not a fire Tibbs guy, but watching these rotations is so frustrating. Do something different. Amen. IQ Grimes, RJ, Cam, Obi wouldn't be good, but it could be interesting for some stretches and fun. Yeah, at this point, again, I think where everybody's frustrations lie, first and foremost, and where I'm right with you, is like, I just want a team that I'm excited to watch play basketball again. Like, I'm at the point where, like, the starting five goes out there, and I'm like, I don't even want to watch this team. They're not fun to watch. Some nights they're really miserable to watch, like tonight. Yeah. Forgotten NYC. How bad do you think the Knicks have to be for the front office to finally wave the white flag on the season and start resting guys early? That's a good question. So, I mean, if they're honest with themselves, and I don't know if they are, if they are being honest with themselves, they're a long shot, I think, to make the play-in. Because to me, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to Atlanta recently. Atlanta's figuring it out. And Atlanta, I was astounded by how poorly they played all season. They're figuring it out now. And they have a much better roster than the Knicks. So I would be shocked if Atlanta didn't pass the Knicks. Okay. So that means the Knicks would have to pass 2 other teams to make the play-in. Who are they passing? Are they passing Toronto? Are they passing Boston? Are they passing Charlotte, who put up a bajillion points tonight on the poor Pacers? You're basically looking at passing the Wizards, who are maybe as broken as the Knicks right now. But here's the thing. Even if you pass the Wizards and the Hawks pass you, you're still on the outside looking in. So if the front office is looking at this and being honest with themselves and saying, like, look, what's the best scenario? I don't even think they need to get to that point. But at the same time, as we sit here today, they are a half game out of the play-in. And I just cannot imagine a New York team, a half game. Like, again, I don't know if they're going to be a half game out of the play-in a week or 2 weeks from now when the trade deadline's here. But if somehow they still are, I don't know. In terms of, but that's a trade conversation. In terms of resting healthy players, yeah, probably 15 games. It's a good call. Keith Knighton. There's no way you could win when 3 out of the 5 starters are extremely useless. Kemba, Fournier, and Randall. I think that needs a little bit of context. Kemba Walker is useless in this starting 5 because he's not being used as a point guard. Like, he gets a couple of on-ball possessions occasionally, takes an off-the-dribble 3 occasionally, and then he goes stands around. He offers no value on defense. He offers no value off ball. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. He offers value off ball. He offers value off ball as a spot-up shooter, but he doesn't want to be a spot-up shooter. That's not his comfort zone. And I think you've seen it revealed over the course of this year that that's not his comfort zone. Fournier has value. Like, Fournier could go to a team, a good team this year, and help them. Like, a good team, he could help them win games. It's just a terrible fit here. And I think that has as much to do with Julius as anything else. But yeah, I mean, in terms of just tonight, did those guys offer any value tonight? I mean, Randall was what was Randall? 5 of 12. Great stat line, Julius. With 4 turnovers to 4 assists. Walker 2 for 8, Fournier 2 for 7. So yeah, pretty atrocious. Oren Naseb. What's interesting is that Tibbs Evan isn't a Tibbs type of player, hustle and defense. Grimes rebounding and digging is world-class hustle plays. Yeah, and there's been, like, I feel like conflicting reports out there about, did Tibbs want Fournier? Did Tibbs begrudgingly accept Fournier? I've seen both reported. I have no idea what the answer is. I know they wouldn't have signed Fournier if Tibbs wasn't on board. I don't think he thought it would go this poorly. And, like, again, we've seen versions of Fournier where he does hustle and he does, like, play pretty good defense. And then most of the time we don't see that guy. Like, that guy exists. It existed in Orlando. Like, here's the other thing. Like, Fournier played for what's his face? The coach, Tibbs's buddy, who coached with the Magic, and also coached with the Hornets. I'm forgetting his name. He had some health issues recently. Whatever. Like, I'm sure he did his homework on, like, okay, so what's it like to have Fournier on your team? The version of Fournier we've got this year, Steve Clifford. Thank you, Andrew. The version of Fournier we got this year has, like, been so wishy-washy and so inconsistent. And again, I wonder how much of that has to do with Julius. I'm sorry to bring it all back to Julius, but I could literally point to Julius as a foundation for every problem on this team. Joseph John, Knicks have a point guard problem, but the poor offensive system is the bigger problem. Players bought into Tibbs' defense. They did their part, but Tom didn't do his part in having a modern offense. He lost the locker room. again, I don't really know what to say to that because there was a month-long stretch last season where despite the fact that they had bottom half of the league offensive personnel, the Knicks were one of the top 2 or 3 offenses in basketball. You wanna call that like a lucky hot stretch? I don't know. Um, I see this as the most fundamental of basketball truths, which is that your offensive system is only gonna look as good as the players that are in it. And if you have players who are A, able, and B, just as importantly, willing to do a lot of stuff on offense, your offense could look good, which is why I point yet again to the offense that the bench played when Derrick Rose was in there at the start of the year. And those offenses had an offensive rating that were better than any team in basketball. And that was a system that was built on the strength of a player who could play a little bit of basketball in Derrick Rose and guys in Quickly and Obi and Burks who complemented Derrick Rose. It's a whole lot easier to run an offensive system when you have that going on as opposed to when you have this fucking guy, Julius Randle, who refuses to alter his style of play. And that's what we all come back to. Always, always, always. That's what I always come back to. Maybe not everybody else, but I always come back to. You have to have players willing to buy into the system. And I don't think Julius has any intention, have ever had any intention of changing the way that he plays. And I thought some of the stuff that we saw early on in the season, where there seemed like there was this push and pull with how they played, I think that was probably an attempt to change things, and it went very poorly because of Julius. Now, can you criticize Tibbs for not getting through to his player? It is a head coach's job to get through to your player. Tibbs has not gotten through to Julius Randle. That's on Tibbs. I just don't envy anybody else trying to do the same thing. Bradley Rothman. What's going on, Bradley? Am I crazy for wondering if the Lakers would do a Westbrook plus a player for Kemba, Randle, and Fournier? I think it would actually benefit both teams with only 1.5 years left on Westbrook's deal. So strictly from a salary perspective, you could do it. Randall, Fournier, Kemba make about 50. Westbrook makes 44. They have a bunch of minimum salary players. Lakers would have to waive somebody. I think the Knicks would require the Lakers to send back their 2028 pick, which is the only first round pick that they could trade. I don't want the rush show. I think there are other ways to get rid of Julius Randle than by selling your soul to the devil, which is what trading for Russell Westbrook is. I think you get Randle off this team. I think Fournier's value could go up in a hurry. I think you could trade Fournier for an asset this summer. If not this summer, then definitely next trade deadline. Like that dude, if he plays a little better, I'm not saying he's been good, but look at his numbers. Look at his offensive numbers. And like pay attention to the games and like when he hits these threes, like there's a good offensive player in there and a guy who isn't a complete disaster on defense when he doesn't want to be. Like they'll be able to get value for him. Maybe not right now, maybe not even this summer, but next trade deadline for sure. Like I don't want to be hasty with him. We'll see. Oh, look, the Knicks did not make Julius Randle available for comment after this game. Fournier said they smacked us in the head. What a shocker that the Knicks did not make Julius Randle available for comment after this game. Although that may be the Knicks doing. Although at the same time, if Julius Randle went to the Knicks and said, I want to go out and talk to the media, the Knicks are not saying no. What a guy. What a stand-up guy. What a stand-up guy. At least he's facing the music. Fucking worthless. Yushen Zhu. Is Julius worse than Simmons? I'd say so. Ben Simmons? Is there another Simmons I'm forgetting about? Yes, Julius Randle is worse than Ben Simmons. My God. Yes. Robert Boy. Love the face replacement in the back. Yeah, that's not going down anytime soon. Thank you. That was Andrew's idea, by the way. Okay, I have to scroll up again here. Gonna play some more catch up. We're gonna look at the Randall contract situation in a bit. Okay, hang on. All right, Andrew, I may have missed something. If I did miss something, let me know. Picking it up with Asfand Yar Janjua. I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. Julius plays like an asshole. Did a whole media tour last year, but wants to be quiet now. I don't respect people who lack this self-awareness. I won't trade him. I would trade him tonight. Thank you so much for saying that. You are channeling all of my energy. My least favorite type of person in the world. I don't care what you are. I don't care how horrible of a human being you are. By the way, shout out Bernardo Zarowski on his birthday. Love you, Bernard. I don't care about any of those things. If you are ignorant, I can't stand it. If you are ignorant about yourself, I really can't stand it. And Julius is being ignorant about himself. Horrible. My number one trait that I cannot stand in people. This one from Manny Campos. The worst thing about Julius is that the Knicks fans wanted to embrace him as our guy after last year. He hasn't held up his end of the bargain. No hustle, no heart. Thank you, Manny. And I want to echo something about that I really, really feel very strongly. If he had come in here this year and he had struggled with his shot and was like, making some of the questionable turnovers, but he was like, I know I'm not helping the team with as much as I should be with my offense right now. I'm going to figure out a way to help them in other ways and just play his ass off and go to Tibbs and be like, I need you to give me a little bit more of a breather from now on because I'm going to give it even a little extra on defense. Is that realistic to expect a quote unquote star player to do that? I don't know. But then again, there aren't many star players who play as poorly offensively as Julius Randle has played. And the only other pushback I'll give to my own comment is like Julius's lack of awareness on defense, especially, and on offense, but it really shines on defense. His lack of awareness makes me wonder sometimes, is there a version of Julius that even if he gave it everything he had on the defensive end was going to be able to get over those moments that just make you scratch your head, like the backdoor cuts he falls asleep on and like all that kind of stuff? It would be better. I know that. It would be better. But he didn't do that. Asfand is shout out to Mello from Toronto. Okay, from CT Pittman, the patron saint of the super chat. I'm very curious to see what he has to say tonight. Has there ever been a worse fall from grace for a most improved player in NBA history than the 2020-2021 fooled us Randall? It's interesting that you bring that up, CT. Prez over at the Strickland was messaging me today about not suggesting that this is a valid comp. He was wondering if I had looked into this as a comp for Julius this season. Pascal Siakam last year. So Pascal Siakam, one most improved player, second team All NBA, awesome season. And last season he kind of fell from grace. I think the difference for me is that Pascal was not the face of the Raptors, and they had such a strong and sturdy culture there that like when he tried to like he left a game early or some bullshit, they suspended him. They suspended him for a game because they're like, we don't deal with that shit here. And like they showed some tough love, and Pascal's been pretty good this year. One, the fall from grace was not as bad as this because again, the problem is that the Knicks' entire offense was Julius Randle last year. So when when he goes to shit, it's not everything goes to shit. And two, again, as I've already discussed many, many times, and people vehemently disagree with me, and I can't say I blame them at this point. I just don't know how he'd react to the attempt at accountability. But again, can't be worse, right? Has there been a worse fall from grace? Again, I mentioned Oladipo. Didn't have a good follow up to that year. I'm looking at past winners right now. Bobby Simmons. I'm going to be dead honest with you. Bobby Simmons won Most Improved Player for the Los Angeles Clippers in 2004, 2005. I do not have one iota of a memory about Bobby Simmons. So I guess maybe he fell from grace a little bit. Yeah, he went to the Bucks after that, and I guess let's see. Yeah, but he wasn't like a guy on Julius's level. But his career kind of went downhill. That's really it. Yeah, you'd have to go back pretty far to find someone maybe that was on that level, but Ronnie Cycli won Most Improved Player. How do you like that? Okay, this again from Mello from Toronto. Let's get the Tibbs apologies out of the way, Macri. What? Apologize for defending Tibbs? Never. You'll never get that from me. I believe in Tibbs. I believe Tibbs is a good coach. I believe he has not handled the Randall thing well. Clearly. I think he's a good coach. And I'll defend him until the day he's fired. And I will also believe, by the way, if he does get fired. Wait. Oh no, that was not from Mello from Toronto. Sorry. I got confused about who was who. Guy Huber then. Let's get the Tibbs apologies out of the way, Macri. I will believe that if the team fires him, not necessarily that it'll be the wrong move, because I think Johnny Bryant's going to be a good coach, but he does not deserve to be fired. I'll say that. Not right now. This, I think, from Mello from Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew. Look at how RJ handles and faces adversity. Julius, on the other hand, acts like a man-child. Yeah, 100%. Yes. Parrish, Duggar, we need consistency, so here I am. Tibbs must go. At least spell Tibbs right. It's Thibs. Hush Zoo. Teams don't double Randall anymore because he's good. He's good. Teams double him now because it's free turnovers. What a sad player he has turned into. That's a great comment. Yeah. I mean, how many times tonight did the Heat leave? I forget who the point guard is. Where Julius? Why am I calling him Jules? Where Julius we get switched onto Gabe Vincent. What was he doing with that? He wasn't doing shit with it, you know. And then they selectively doubled and they tried to force turnover. And he made a couple of nice passes to his credit early on, and then things went to shit. This is another one from Robert Cross. Kullitz was on fire in playback tonight. Sign him to a contract extension. Thanks, KFS. Hashtag 53 wins. Yeah, we had fun in playback. For sure. Shout out to everybody who was in there. Appreciate all the patrons. You guys are awesome. You're making this season some more fun for a couple of reasons. One, I have a general NBA podcast that I get to look forward to recording every week. And two, the playback has been awesome. ML Nair. At some point, it doesn't matter if Tibbs loses Randall. He's at risk of losing the team. Where'd your comment go? RJ and Mitch are the only starters that give effort at all times. I don't know about Mitch. Mitch gives effort, but Mitch is also a space cadet, and Mitch was not good tonight. He got owned. He was not an effective player. Tibbs has to play who comes to play. That's a very valid comment. It's something Jeremy brought up in the playback tonight. I don't know. I have no idea how the team sees Julius. Maybe the team is sympathetic to Julius's struggles, but at the same time, you know, they're professional athletes and they want to go out to have a chance to win games. And that's when things get bad, is anytime you have an organization where the emphasis is not on winning. That's when things get terrible. thus far, I think the reason why the Knicks have continued to have moments that make us believe is because the emphasis has remained on winning. They just haven't done it enough. If they keep trotting out lineups with again that don't work and there's no accountability for Julius, do certain players wonder if the effort is still being made to win as much as it could be? I don't know. It's a good question. This is from Juanan. Yes. Think Dallas would be interested in Randall? It works under the cap with Randall, with Powell, Brunson, and Finney Smith coming back. God, I just don't know what teams around the league would think of Randall. I mean, theoretically, he would look better there, but then you're playing KP as your full-time center, which I guess they're kind of doing already. But those are 3 rotation players for them. Brunson's been a better player than Julius Randle this year. I wouldn't do that if I was Dallas. Finney Smith's good. Finney Smith's on a great contract. They're gonna have to pay him this summer, but he's on a great contract. Man. No, I don't think they do that. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, Jessica, what's going on, Jess? Good to see you. Great night from Grimes. I love that you're keeping it positive. I see so much potential with the bench players going forward. Rose is going to have such an impact on the kids once he comes back. Let's go Knicks. I needed the positivity, Jessica. Thank you. This team's so depressing. But yes, I thought Grimes played super, super well. Really excited to see. Thought Obi played well. I thought Quickly had some moments. And I thought RJ played okay. In the face of a Miami defense, I thought RJ played okay. This from Andrew L. Chan. What's going on, Andrew? Everyone is saying trade Randall, but teams are smart. Who wants him outside of Sacramento? Without the Knicks adding picks or taking back a bad contract like Wall. Well, again, Wall makes too much money. So, okay, let's just do it. I think there might be one more comment in regards to trading Randall. Hush. I'm gonna get back to. I'll finish on the Randall trade stuff. Okay. Hush Zoo. RJ defenders can rightfully use the RJ had to play with Julius Randle for his first 3 years. I like that. I love Grimes, Reddish, and Obi. Reddish is so smooth. Love it. Yeah, and Reddish didn't play great tonight, but he's rusty. I don't put that on him at all. I do want to see more of Reddish moving forward. All the more reason to make trades or rotation adjustments. This is from Vivek. Fire? ? Okay, fine. Not going there. But a few immediate changes are needed. 1, DMP Kemba. I'm here for it. Again, with the acknowledgement that I do not believe this is Kemba Walker's fault. Yes. 2, make up an injury for Burks. Or just trade him today for before his value goes down even more. Although I honestly at this point, I'll push back on that a little bit. Burks is such a fluctuating player. I wonder if maybe if you sat him a game or two, get him rested a little bit, and then put him back in. He would go on a hot streak, and then you trade him to try to increase his trade value, but it's not good right now. And then 3, send Randall to Montana to talk to Phil. I love it. I love it so much. Montana would be a good place for Julius Randle. Peak motion PT. I would take an empty bag for Julius. But Tibbs is part of the problem. If he wants to stick with the starters, fine, but make adjustments while still in a game. I don't know what adjustments you could make with Julius Randle. And again, I'll shout out the podcast me and Benji recorded yesterday. If Julius isn't going to make shots, it at some point it just comes down to just basic basketball. If Julius isn't going to make shots, what adjustments are you making? I don't know. I just don't know, because all of the adjustments that come involve Julius Randle doing more stuff off ball and running the offense through other players. Julius has to be willing, which gets us back to all of the thing that everyone wants to fire Tibbs for, which is failing to hold Julius accountable. This from Chris Dada. if you trade him before the extension, can we avoid the kicker? That's a great question. I don't know. Boy, is that a good question. I think you do. I'm gonna find out the answer to this question. That's a fantastic question. I really don't know the answer. I'm gonna try to find out though. Kevin Danishevsky, too hard on Kemba. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is Kemba's fault, but his knees aren't good. He can't go downhill like he used to. And because he can't go downhill like he used to, it takes away a lot of his effectiveness. Kevin Danishevsky. Oh, that's it. Okay. This is the rest of your comment. We have gotten to see none of him without an albatross. Another reason I dump Randall for anything. Yeah, I mean, look, Kemba's not the answer for this team moving forward. And quite frankly, even if there was a version of Kemba that could turn back the clock and look healthier and whatever, I don't know. I'm at the point now where I'm just kind of give quickly the point guard minutes. I don't know. I'm over it a little bit. We're 50 games in. But would I absolutely hate them trading Julius Randle and then starting Obi and then playing Kemba, Fournier, RJ, Obi, Mitch, and then the subs, Rose, Grimes, quickly, and then trade Burks, Reddish, Taj or Noel? No, I wouldn't hate that. Hush Zoo, Randall and Kemba in 2 seconds for, oh boy, Christian Wood and DJ Augustine. I don't think that. Why would the Rockets do that? I think the Rockets are all in on a slow burn. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would be shocked if the Rockets did that. We'll see though. Thanks for all the likes, by the way. If you're still in here and you haven't hit the like button, feel free to do so. The likes help us get noticed. And again, what's better than watching me defend the coach who can't get his best player to play basketball in a cohesive fashion? Stevens B. Guillaume, thank you so much for the contribution. We appreciate it. Brian Lest. Notice no mention of Randall's off-court work this year. Not a perfect comp, but I'm seeing serious shades of Marbury's career meltdown here. Julius Randle to China. Maybe that's the comp. But when Marbury's meltdown happened, the organization was such a shit show. And I actually believe the organization is in a stable place. So he was part of the shit show. Not a bad comp though at all. That's a good comp. I like that comp actually. Anthony Sixto. Every possible thing has gone wrong this year, and Tibbs still has us a few games under 500. Not sure how many moves Tibbs has left without a deal. Again, you're kind of preaching to the choir there. Every possible thing has gone wrong. But again, when everything goes wrong like that, I mean, again, I'm saying this as a Tibbs defender. Some of that has to be on the coach. Some of it has to be on the coach. When everything is going wrong, some of that has. But the reality is, everything hasn't gone wrong because, we've seen pretty good basketball from Quickly and Obi and Grimes and RJ. But here's a fun one. Everybody loves to give RJ pats on the back. I think he's had, a 50th percentile season. If you factor everything in, does Tibbs get credit for that? Does Tibbs get credit for RJ starting hot, going into a massive funk, and then coming back and Tibbs trying to maybe lit a fire under his ass? Because if you look at it, when did the turnaround begin? it kind of began after the Denver game when Tibbs called him out. And then he went into COVID. He had a couple of bad games after COVID, but then he's continued to pick it up. I don't know. Does Tibbs get credit for that? You guys tell me. I have a feeling I know the answer. Kevin Danishevsky. Kevin, you're awesome, man. I really appreciate you always coming in here and contributing, and like, it means a lot. You're the man. Hypothetical. If Jeff Van Gundy comes to the Knicks and asks them to hire him on the spot, do you do it? I'm totally fine. I'm totally not on the fire Tibbs train, but I'm a 100% yes. Jeff Van Gundy would sooner move to the North Pole than take Tibbs' job from him. He wouldn't even, like, if the Knicks went to him and was like, hey, I mean, I guess if Tibbs was like on board with it and like they went to him and was like, hey, do you want to be like a consultant on, like, why the fuck would Van Gundy want to do that? I don't know. Abdoulaye Diallo. Julius comes off as a late career Melo. Oh, hold on. Your comment went away. I'll get it back. Sorry, that was a funky chat move. Oh no, don't tell me I lost it. Here we go. So this again from Abdoulaye Diallo. Julius comes off as a late career Melo with way less talent or skill or shooting. He's slow on offense and lazy on defense. He's been so disappointing. The only difference I'll say is that like Julius is still like just some of the offensive decisions in terms of trying to play make. Like he's not just leaning into long two after long two after long two. If anything, he's kind of gone away from that. His playmaking has just gotten a lot worse. I think that the stuff that drives me the most crazy is on defense. And I guess I will say, like, there is a little bit of unselfishness to, I think there is maybe a part of him that's trying to rack up his assist totals. A little bit of Russ there, you know? But yeah. Randall, Kemba, and Fournier for Westbrook. Clears up a log jam and clears the books after next year. Again, I don't know that I have the stomach for a year and a half of Russell Westbrook, or even like you want to talk about stunting RJ's development? Trade for Russell Westbrook on your team. That's like, I don't know. Maybe he like, I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask about this because my hatred for Russell Westbrook, I don't care about him as a person, but my hatred for Russell Westbrook, the player, because I'm a process guy, and if your process is unsound, I can't watch you. And Russell Westbrook has the most unsound process of any player in the league, and it is not close. He takes 5 to 10 shots a game that are literally indefensible. Like if the team as a total took the number of indefensible shots that he took every game, it would drive me up a fucking wall. He does it by himself. And he's also atrocious defensively. And that said, like, if they made that trade, I'd be like, can it get any worse? Brian Benjamin. You've been talking about Randall for so long. I'm afraid your daughter's first words might be Julius Randle. I hope not. I hope for her sake not. But thank you for that, Brian. I appreciate that. Let's hope her first words are something positive. Ashfand Jar. Okay, so this is again Mello from Toronto. I know RJ hates playing with Randall slowly, and there's other guys who already do. He's blaming fans for his play. Him blaming fans for his play is laughable. I mean, there's so much that's laughable. There's so much that's laughable about this. He's not blaming himself. I know that. Not blaming himself one iota. Not one bit. There's no self-reflection going on. None. All right, I think we may almost be caught up. From Jeremy Cohen. Hello, Jeremy Cohen. Hi. My belief is that because the extension hasn't started, the kicker shouldn't be in effect yet. I hope you're right, Jeremy. I hope you're right. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, Obi Toppin said that the Heat are a championship caliber team. He believes the Heat are a championship caliber team. What a chicken shit Randall is. Sent Obi to talk about this fucking game. What an absolute chicken shit. Andrew, you said there was one more that Aussie Knicks fan. Matt, what's going on, Matt? How you doing? Over an hour in. Salute to you, my guy. Get the likes up. I appreciate that. Yeah, I still have to write a newsletter about this game. I don't even know. I don't know what I'm supposed to write. I mean, I kind of wrote the Tibbs accountability column a couple days ago. I guess I'll go back to that. Well, yeah. I don't know. Okay, we got one more. I keep waiting to go to the Randall trade discussion. I'm going to finish up with that. Jason Devaney, what's going on, Jason? How are you? Hey, Macri, big fan here. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Got my dad a subscription for Christmas, and he's already given up reading Berman articles. Well, I'm not going to say anything mean. I will just say that I appreciate that, and I'm glad he's enjoying himself. I really miss all the KP trolling last year when Randall was Jordan. Yeah, that was nice. Oh, man. Good times. I mean, listen, we're Knicks fans. We had to know that we would have to pay some karmic price for all of the good times last season. Because when do good things ever happen to us? Bondi with another tweet. Man, I got to read this. This is a good tweet. This can't continue. Not with the dismal starting lineup. Not with an uninspired Julius as the primary playmaker. It's been trending down for a while, but now it's like the bottom jar loose and is hanging by the sparse hair strands on Thibodeau's head. You know what, Steph? I can't disagree. All right. You want to talk some fake Julius Randle trades? So again, it's impossible to talk about all the possible trades because there are so many different combinations. You could package him with Fournier, and you could trade for pretty much any player in the league. You can cobble together a couple of smaller salaries that add up to $16 million, and you could trade for him that way. There are a lot of different combinations. $16.7 million. Because don't forget, Julius is still at 21.7 on the books because his incentives for All-Star and playoffs are still likely incentives because of the way of the nature of the CBA. They go down as likely incentives because they happened last year. Okay, so here are all the players that you could trade Julius for straight up. Let me just make sure my math is correct here. Get the old calculator out. 21.78 times 1.25. So 27.3. Okay. So Al Horford are the who does Al Horford play for again? That's right, the Boston Celtics. Are the Celtics trading Al Horford for Julius Randle? You know what? Would the Celtics do that? I'm pretty sure that I think they would. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. What would the Knicks would the Knicks would ask for a first, right? I don't even know. I'm just gonna keep reading names that are just not in consideration. Kyle Lowry, Jaylen Brown, DeMar DeRozan, Draymond Green, Nikola Vucevic, Buddy Hield. Okay, Buddy Hield. I am fairly certain that the Kings would happily trade you Buddy Hield for Julius Randle. Buddy Hield has 2 more years left on his contract. It's a descending contract, which is good. Makes $21 million next year, $19 million the year after that. I want Buddy Hield nowhere near this team. I don't really like Buddy Hield. does lead the league in 3-pointers for like the last 3 years, the last 4 years, the last 5 years at a good percentage. He doesn't do anything else. Like there's no playmaking really. The defense is bad. The Knicks would ask for a pick. The Knicks would ask for a pick. The Knicks would ask for Buddy Hield and a pick. Buddy Hield and like the Kings' top 6 protected first this year. I'd do that. I don't know what if it converts to 2 seconds? Is that, I don't know. I'm pretty sure though, if the Kings really want Julius, I think the Knicks would probably hold out for Fox until, even if it took until the summer, and then like maybe give something else to try to get Fox. I don't even know. John Collins, that's not gonna happen. Randall Brogdon can't be traded. Tim Hardaway Jr., who just broke his toe and is out for the foreseeable future. I'm just laughing at the thought of Julius Randle being traded for Tim Hardaway Jr. That would be high comedy. I just don't. If you're Dallas, like, I don't know. Do you do that? I guess Dallas does that. Do the Knicks do that? Man. Mike Connolly, Gary Harris on a $20 million expiring contract. Sadly, Orlando wants nothing to do with Julius Randle. Danilo Gallinari. What do you think? We'll send Jules to Atlanta to play small forward, I guess, next to John Collins? No. Harrison Barnes, the trade I keep coming back to. I love the notion of a Barnes plus a small asset. I don't even need Barnes plus give me Barnes. I mean, Barnes plus Davion Mitchell, Barnes plus a heavily protected first that maybe eventually like has to convey as a first, so it becomes unprotected at some point. Or maybe, and I don't know if the CBA allows this. Can you make I don't think you could do this. It'd be cool if you could make it a first round pick that's protected for a couple of years, and then if it doesn't convey by a certain point, then it turns into a pick swap. I don't think you could do that though. Jeremy Grant. You guys want Jeremy Grant? Well, I don't think that matters because Detroit doesn't want Julius Randle. I'll keep reading down again. These trades are not happening. Fred VanVleet, Jared Allen, Zach LaVine, Goran Dragic. Toronto would tell you to go fuck off. Bojan Bogdanovic, Lonzo Ball, Clint Capella, Domantas Sabonis, Eric Gordon. I think Houston says no. I can't believe I'm saying that. I think Houston would rather have the first round pick that they could get in a Gordon trade. But we'll see. Almost done. Eric Bledsoe. There we go. Perfect. That's the trade. Send Julius back to LA. Bring back Eric Bledsoe. And Julius can play power forward next to his old buddy, his good friend, Marcus Morris. They made such beautiful music here last time. Let's run it back in LA. Mook could come off the bench once Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are healthy. What are we getting on top of Eric Bledsoe? I need Eric Bledsoe and something. Can we get Brandon Boston Jr.? Terrence Mann, fresh off his extension. I like Terrence Mann. Man, yeah. But I think I'll go to the end of the list of the one-on-one players just so we could complete the exercise. Miles Turner, Terry Rozier, Ricky Rubio, Karis LeVert, Jonathan Isaac, Joe Harris, Evan Fournier, Spencer Dinwiddie, Steven Adams. Memphis wouldn't do that. Markelle Fultz, Orlando wouldn't do that, and Aaron Gordon. Dinwiddie. There's a name. If what would Washington do? Would Washington trade? Dinwiddie's been bad this year. Um, would Washington give up a draft asset to unload Dinwiddie and bring on Randall? I, I don't know. There was a whole thing about Bradley Beal wanting to play with Dinwiddie. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so that was humbling. But yeah, it's like, so trade Randall tomorrow. Where are you trading him? What are you getting? But again, it's not about just those players. You could get a package. You could package him and try to get someone else. But like, if you package him with someone else, like, you're adding a pick to add what player to this team, you know? And if you're taking a package for him, again, what team is giving up something valuable to trade for Julius Randle? I don't know. I don't know who they are. So that's the downside. That said, I think they could find a deal for him somewhere out there. I believe they could do that if they wanted to before the deadline. I remain unconvinced that they will, but we'll see. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. It's amazing that we just had 500 people in here still watching, almost 300 likes. If you haven't hit the like button yet and you just came in, hit the like button. Reminder that we will have a Patreon episode for any patrons in here dropping either on the later side of tomorrow or Friday morning. We're going to have a mailbag. Oh boy, that should be fun. We're going to have a mailbag segment tomorrow. So look for Chris Persianen soliciting questions. We'll retweet his tweet asking for questions. So we get a bunch of questions in. That's going to be recording tomorrow, dropping on Friday. We'll have a post game after the Milwaukee game. Hopefully, when we get to talk about a new starting lineup. I think that's it. Thanks everybody for coming watching. I don't know what I would do without the opportunity to voice all of these thoughts after games. So the fact that you guys come and join me and contribute to the cause means a lot. So yeah, talk to you soon, guys. Peace out.